It's time for IP in the news. And so today we're going to be talking about threads. Now, everybody knows not the threads that you wear. This is Mark Zuckerberg's threads, right? And so he created a competitor to Twitter, or X as it's now called, and he called it Threads. Well, there was a challenge in him doing that.
Well, he decided that he really did not care that Threads Software Limited has a trademark in the UK. And he decided he was just going to use Threads anyway. He talked to them a couple times about maybe working out some sort of agreement. They couldn't come to terms. So he just took the name Threads and started using it.
So, and what is really kind of nasty, I mean, I do get the controversy here, and I think that they will come to some sort of an agreement eventually, but he took them off Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of punished them for having a trademark that he wanted and they were using before he had it. So I think that's kind of foul play, I think, as far as the business negotiation goes. But one of the things that when you're a big company and you're rolling out a new name, lots of times there's other trademarks out there that you have to deal with. And we just hope that he deals with them fairly, right? I mean, he's a big company. It's a big project. It's going to cost them a lot of money to rebrand, to get a new name. They've been in business for 10 years. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to get their customers, their current customers, to know their new name. So I hope he gives them a lot of money to compensate for all that.
Well, yeah, because somebody's going to have to rebrand, right? It's very confusing. So this, just to give credit where credit's due, this came from livemint.com. And it was written by Jocelyn Fernandez. So thank you, Jocelyn.
Well, thank you, Jocelyn. Now it's time for Richard's Roundtable. We are going to go first to Drew Thompson. Drew, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And what's your opinion on all this?
You know, I don't really understand the Twitter X thing. Like, why is it X and not Twitter? A tweet can't be an X.
Everywhere I see it, it says, X, formerly Twitter, right? It's like, how do you write X? It just doesn't work.
I think Elon Musk just wanted X.com and he finally found a business he could name X. But I think them taking over the Threads account, and I'm sorry, the Threads name, it just shows you, right? You're building your business on rented land.
Yeah.
Right. I tell clients and I tell friends that you're building your business on social, at one day, they can just get rid of all of it. They can shut down your account. You've lost that entire audience. I think this is a great example.
Yeah, no, that's an outstanding point. And the difficult part about all of this is that normally if somebody comes to us as attorneys who deal with trademarks all the time, we tell them to do a search. And if there's somebody else who's got the name, we try to talk them into something else, right? Because we know that they're going to have that kind of problem if they adopt a name where somebody else already has a trademark. And apparently Mark Zuckerberg and his legal team decided that they were just going to probably out-resource these people, and they went ahead. So, Antonia, what are your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Richard. I think about this too. I'm like, I'm this little small business owner that came up with 3 trademarks, 2 patents. What if, right? You never know, but it makes me very sad to know that someone with money can actually go out there and take this from you, but they don't have the Gearharts. So I'm not worried.
There you go.
That's my answer to everyone. They're like, oh, you should do this on your website. And I don't know what I'm really doing yet, but I know it's an amazing idea. Otherwise I wouldn't have gotten, this far with you and all the things. But knowing that I have this army behind me of attorneys, and you guys makes me feel like I'm going to be okay. And I think that justice will always be served.
There you go. Well, you believe in the system.
I do.
I think that's important.
I do.
Bringing Julie Wilson and Amy Livingstone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts about all of this Threads stuff?
I kind of think he didn't think of it quick enough. Somebody else got there before him. So he either has to think of something else, or he has to pay to get the name he wants and pay the things that they have to do in order to change their name. I'm surprised they're not taking him to court or, fighting it.
Well, I think they're very close. There's been 4 offers so far, and we don't know what's happened yet, but I'm sure it could go to court. And it's a British trademark. It's a British company. So they'll be fighting in good old England there. And I'm not sure that the English will take kindly to Mark Zuckerberg's annex.
No,
So.
they won't. But do you know, I think the problem is it's not fair that those who've got deeper pockets win. That's just
Right.
shouldn't be how it works. And they have the power to fight. And that is really unfair because it happens across IP and trademarks and patents all the time. And small companies are investing so much money in trying to build their brand and build their awareness. And that isn't just about the money that it costs, it's the time, it shouldn't be allowed that someone, just because they have access to probably top legal reps and deeper pockets, that they should get to disrupt this other company. It just doesn't seem fair.
I agree. It is a fairness issue, and a large company like Facebook will have lots of money to throw at a case, and a lot of companies will just throw in the towel because it's cost too much to defend it. And the big companies know this and they rely on it. Kenya?
Total jerk move on behalf of Mr. Zuckerberg, right? I mean, I think about the small guy who's creative, who kind of got ahead of the curve and who's going to have to spend all this money now to really rework their entire business strategy, which is unfortunate. So I hope the right thing happens to this company, because it's not nice to steal, right? It's not. And I'm just curious. I have a question for you, Richard, in terms of like how the trademark would apply. So if this happens in England, right, does that trademark carry over into the States? Like, how universal is that once it's settled?
Well, that's a great question. If they had wanted, if Threads, the software company, had wanted to protect their name in the US, they would have had to file a US trademark, right? And so they probably only have protection in the UK. And so they, Mark Zuckerberg is not in danger of having the whole Threads company shut down, but he may have to carve out an exception when he does business in the UK with Threads, which, by the way, I don't think Threads is that great a name anyway. I mean,
It's not, but it's the closest thing to Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably why he really wanted it or wants it.
Yeah.
Well, if you're thinking about getting a trademark, you can talk to Richard at Gearhart Law, or you can go to learn more about trademarks.com and download a white paper on it, and then call Richard and talk to him.
I'm curious, Richard.
Thanks. Yeah.
Just karma, right? It comes full circle. If I'm the owner of this Threads company, I'm going out and starting an entire campaign saying my company was so great that Mark Zuckerberg wanted our name. And I'm dumping all of my money into a social campaign, running ads like that, which Mark would probably stop.
You're going to have to run it on Twitter.
Right?
Well, here's our marketing guru.
I was just going to say, and Drew just put his marketing hat on and pulled out a good one there. So excellent. Well, who knows what could happen with this. And obviously the case is getting some publicity. So hopefully that's helping the company too. So